Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff with Namrita. And my guest today is a woman who has pursued her passion for dance against all odds. She was not allowed to dance when she was a little girl, and here she is now, an artistic director and founder of two very well known dance companies, Kalanityam School of Bharathanatyam and the Indian Fusion Dance Academy. So I do have Selvi Pragasam on Off the Cuff today. Welcome, Selvi, to my show.
Thank you, Namrita, for having me on the show. Good morning. Good morning to all your audience. I'm so glad to be here. And yes, I would like to share my journey. And again, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, Selvi. And whenever I've met you, you have this brightest of smile and an energy that is so infectious. And I'm glad I've met you a few times lately, because we collaborated on a project. And, you graduated with a master's in dance with honors from the prestigious Kalai Kaveri School of Fine Arts, affiliated with the Bharathanatyam University in Trichy, India. So tell me a bit about how you managed your, dance against all odds, and then being a parent and a wife and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, when I was a little girl, starting, I have been always passionate about dance. But once you have that passion, that never dies, no matter what happens, right? Yes. So in my family, I'm the first one to be actually pursuing dance. So I was not in the beginning. Able to go to dance classes, especially my grandmother. She is from very old school, and she would, have tell me it's not for good family girls, all that, whatever beliefs they had before. But it was my passion that drove me. So I've been dancing. I'll dance in school. I'll choreograph. Even when I was little, I would choreograph. Just to remember the times, those times we didn't have YouTube videos or TVs or anything for reference, right? We would just look at movies, and then mostly it was our own inspiration. And then once in a while, I'll probably ask my dad to take me to one of the dance programs that happened on stage. And since I was so interested, he would oblige to take me there. So that's the only exposure I had to dance itself. And even movies, we were very restricted to go. So it was hard for me to refer to anything, but then this passion wouldn't die. So I started choreographing in school and everywhere, and then finally this particular dance school, it opened up in the same street we lived in. So I was very lucky. So I kind of sneaked into the dance school without my parents knowing. They didn't know. And I started learning for the first 6 months. My parents were not even aware. They decided to join my sister because she was much younger. And, so I kind of tagged along and went and joined myself in. And only after 6 months, when it was time to pay the fees, I had to actually tell my parents about it. Otherwise, I would have just learned without. But my gurus were really very, very, very nice and endearing, and they would let me learn from classes. Most of my learning was in class, but also watching through the windows and into other classes. So I would just right after school run over to my dance school, and from I would say middle school to all the way to college. I remember more of my dance classes than I ever went to school. So yeah, that was my passion. But I was fortunate that my principal saw the dedication and passion I had, and I got to get chosen in my school's dance troupe, and I was able to travel with them, all over India and abroad as well, Europe. We went on a Europe trip. So at that time, my parents finally came to the, okay, this girl cannot be stopped. So then my dad has always been a supporter, but my grandmother was the one who was always very skeptical about it, but she didn't have any say after I got chosen into the dance troupe. And then it was, I was all over the place. I went into university competitions. Those were really fun days, right? You take dance and really make what you want it to be. So that was my time. And yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience after that. And once I came to the US, it was a little tougher for me because I had my child, my first son, and he has special needs. So taking care of him has been hard. And I was trying my footage over here. So about first I would say about almost 8 years. I did not dance after I got to the US. And then afterwards, I slowly started, being part of nonprofit organizations. And we were in the East, and we had the Indian Association there. So I became the cultural director there, and I started slowly working my dance into that. And yeah, once I came to California, I chose to work at that time because it was a crucial time for me financially and everything. So I was working for NASA, Lockheed Martin. So I worked there for almost 7 years. And then I came to a point where I can't really keep doing this. This is not what I dreamt of doing, right? This is not my passion. Although I loved the place I worked with, my colleagues were excellent, everything was good, but I just had to switch gears. And that's when I founded the Indian Fusion Dance Academy, 2007. I distinctly remember. Yeah. So my parents were just leaving to India, and the last thing my dad, before he left, just the previous night, he told me, hey, why don't you start a dance school? And that was from him. And, it's yeah, I've been mulling over that thought for so long. And once it came from him, it was a certain, it made it for me. So that's the day when I started, and there has been no looking back and no stopping after that. I'm very fortunate that I'm able to carry my profession and my passion both together and keep going.
Yeah. What a wonderful journey. And when your father, I'm sure, must have told you to start, a school, that's such a huge support, a moral support, that a child who, paved her way without telling the parents when she was a young girl, that must be just the ultimate, compliment that you could have gotten from your parent. I can understand that. And now we see your school flourishing, and look where you've reached. If you had not pursued your passion with so much of integrity, you wouldn't have taught hundreds of students that you're doing now, and passing on this legacy of classical dance. So we really, really appreciate what you're doing here in the Bay Area, and wish you the very best with both the schools. And but I know right now you are here also to talk about the Arangetram that you'll be having very soon. Tell us about that. I think there's one on August 14th, which has a theme of Ramayana, and another one is also about the environment. So tell us about both, and where people can get the tickets and how they can reach you.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Namrata.
Yeah.
So we've been having Arangetrams. Let me say a few words about what an Arangetram is.
Yeah.
Arangetram is the first solo recital, like a complete, what we call as a margam. The margam is defined in a way that it has a first half and a second half, and it has about 9 items to 11 items. It depends on how many a girl can handle and perform. And there are specific pieces that we perform in a margam, and these are laid out. Like the beginning pieces would be the Alaripu, the Jatiswaram, the Shabdam or the Kavitwam, and then we have Kirtanams, Padams, Varnam, Tilana. So it's like a stage of every stage of the child's training. When they are younger, they would learn more of the first half, which is the Jatiswaram and the Alaripu and the Shabdam and the Kavitwam. And then once they get to like an intermediate advanced level, they would go into Kirtanams and Padams. And then, the last or the most advanced would be the Varnam and the Tilana. So, so there is a way that we need to perform this. It's laid out by, we follow the Tanjavur brothers, who were the first ones who put together the markam. And we follow that as much as possible. But we at Kalanityam have also adapted to doing the Arangetrams, not just by following the markam. So when you go to some of the Arangetrams, you will see that the markam is so strictly followed that there is no variation, like one Arangetram to the another. Whatever the child has learned through her life with a group, they just end up performing that. But for me, it is very special that this is such a special event in life. For every child who's graduating. Maybe in India, people continue after Arangetram, dancing and doing other things. But in the US, it's very hard for the children even to get to the point of Arangetram, because it requires a lot of dedication and time. So I want to make it really special for them. So what I do is I study the child and choose a theme that which perfectly fits on her, and her interests, her strengths played by it. And I would choose the items. Just choosing the items takes 3 years for me to figure out which are the items she would be doing in her Arangetram. So every Arangetram is very specifically choreographed for that child. So it's very personal to them. We rarely repeat pieces, and because unless we go with the same kind of theme. And the one on August 14th is Lavanya's students Arangetram. That is the one that is on Ramayana. So, and then I have on the 20th is not an Arangetram. It is a production. It is a production, because the girl who is doing this particular production, she's already done her Arangetram. She did her Arangetram in 2017, and she is one of my very senior students, very talented girl. And, she's done another movie with Anil as well called Imagination. So that one came out as well. She was the lead in that. And so for her, it was very important to do something that was, she was majoring in. So she is going to be majoring in environmental science and political science.
And her name is Nitika?
Nitika Karthikeyan, yes, yes. And first, when I came up with this idea, hey, Nitika, you have already done your Arangetram when you were really little. Like, she was in middle school, but she doesn't, extraordinary job at that time too. So I told her, but why don't you do another one before you, go to college? So she, then eventually she said, Auntie, I don't want to do another markam. I want to do something very special. Let's come up with something very special, which will be useful, which would be something that we can show to the younger generation, something that can be learned from. Of course, art is supposed something to be learned from, but she wanted to put all her research, whatever she's been part of all these organizations, environmental organization for quite a bit now, like through her high school. And she said, I want to put all that experience into this. So so I said, yeah, fantastic, let's do it. But then it was very hard to find any pieces that were written for this purpose. It's a very, very recent purpose, dealing with the environment and how global warming and, how human has affected the actions of humans has affected it, and to bring it out in a classical form. Right. So it's you can do it in contemporary ballet, hip hop. Those are methods that I have seen other people present it. I mean, which is also rare, but to bring it into a classical form, doing it in Bharathanatyam was a challenge by itself. So we had all the songs written and musicians. In fact, we are having the final cut done this week. Musicians from India who are putting all the songs from scratch together. And the whole thing is the concept is all new, all created, and it is going to benefit 5 different environmental organizations, because it's Panchapudangal. We chose one organization from each of the elements, which is the earth, fire, water, air, and space. So we have chosen an environmental organization for each of these to benefit. So, this usually Arangetrams are all free. When you do an Arangetram, it is free.
Yes.
But this one is
A
different. It's a
production.
production. And so we are doing it as a fundraiser. So there is a ticket for it. There is information available. It's $20, but we also per ticket. We also accept donations, and we also have group discounts and several other incentives. We have people who come, the children especially. We are going to have give them goodies related to environmental, so they
Oh,
can do
nice.
their own studies in the environmental science and stuff.
Okay. And where
And
can they
this,
get the tickets for this and or donate?
so there is a website called RSP5, Panjapudangal. That's what it is.
Okay.
I will send you the link.
Yes, I'll put the link.
Yeah, if you can just put the link on. So I'm asking for the community to support this effort. It's a where yesterday also I was watching President Biden talking about how environment is taking such a big hit that we have to get back on road to protecting it. It's such a current and very important topic, especially for our future generation, right? It's very,
Absolutely.
very important. We cannot, if we ignore this now, we're not going to have a future. And yeah, so I just want science and art to come together in this. Usually art and science are kept separate. As much as we want it to be together, it like people who study art are like all in art. People
Yeah.
who study science are all in science.
Yes.
This particular event is to bring both of these fields together.
Very true.
And
Very true. We
yeah,
need to stress on STEAM rather than STEM.
yes,
Yeah, science, technology, engineering, art, together. And the most important, thing I feel is that this young girl is thinking so much about the environment, and
yes,
we always want to encourage the youth. To
yes.
thinking the way they are, because they are our future leaders, and we should be looking up to them and supporting them. And thank you, Selvi, for actually supporting her and bringing this huge multimedia production,
Yes.
which is going to take place. Where is it happening though?
Mount Pleasant High School Theater. Mount Pleasant.
Okay, Mount Pleasant High School, and it is in
It's in San Jose.
San Jose. Okay.
It's in San Jose. Yeah, it is. It's right next to. It's on White Road. So
Okay.
yeah, usually it's pretty close to our more my heart, and I have lived in Evergreen all my life in
Yes.
California.
Mm.
So I try to keep most of my events as much as possible
Mhm.
in Evergreen. So this is a theater in Evergreen, a high school in Evergreen, and a beautiful theater. We've done shows before there.
Okay.
So yeah, we chose that theater. And also a very important thing, it's like you said, it's a multimedia production. That
Yes.
means it's just not dance. We
Yes.
have several elements of movies that have come in, which are so beautifully. You
Mm.
should see the visuals put
Yes.
together by Random Drifts Entertainment. I mean, he is a master in this. And to be collaborating with him for this project has been a dream for me. And yeah, so that is another important thing. Like I said, it's bringing in all elements of a movie, and yeah, it's basically, I would say, a 4D production, like
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So, listeners, all I'll say is do support. It's on August 20th in San Jose. Be there or donate, like Selvi is saying, because a lot of money gets spent on this kind of production, and it's for a very worthy cause. So, I'll urge everybody to support this. You can actually reach Selvi Pragasam on Facebook also, and I'll also put up the link on my Facebook page. Under Namrita Johanna and Off the Cuff with Namrita on Bolly 92.3 FM. So, Selvi, this is what, now my next segment we have to jump to. It's a Bolly segment. I am on Bolly, and I'm pretty Bolly buff myself. So, we'll do something. And I know this was last minute, but thank you for agreeing to do it. You're a wonderful dancer. And you said you can't speak in Hindi, but you've seen a lot of Hindi movies.
Yes,
So
yes.
I know you. I have a track which is of yours only. I'll try to play this on my phone, and you can give your expressions. It's on. I
Sure.
think the song is "Ghar More Pardesiya,"
Yes.
from Kalank movie. So we will try it, and let's see how it goes. So here's the Bolly segment for you all. Let me just put this on. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I could see that beautiful smile on your face, and you're a lovely, lovely dancer. But Zoom has its own restrictions, and we could only see that a certain amount. But thank you for going with that, and doing this for us. But I do have another question, which is a little personal regarding your involvement with special need kids, and you feel very passionately about it, because like you mentioned that your son Aiden, who must be quite old now, over 25 years, or 20,
He
how
is
old?
28. Yeah, he's
28 years,
yeah,
yeah. So, and
yeah.
he was diagnosed with a rare metabolic disorder and autism, and he's inspired you to be an activist and advocating for children with special needs. And I think you also co-founded Gina, a
Yes.
support organization for families with special needs. So, tell me, how important it is for us to provide an inclusive environment for special need kids, and how you as a parent are coping with it.
Yeah. So the opportunities for any child, I wouldn't say just special need. Well, it's a very hard world when anybody has any kind of a difference.
Yes.
They are always put aside, right? We
Mm.
see bullying, we see so much mental illnesses going on in even the so-called
So
normal
called. Yes.
neurotypical children.
Yes. Mm.
And I deal with also children in high school and middle school, and I see
Mm.
it's just not the special need kids who have these issues.
Absolutely.
It is the regular crowd who are
Mm.
struggling with these issues. And if a normal child who can talk and do everything and who's excelling in every field
Mm.
not able to overcome these challenges, how much more it would be harder for a child who has these disabilities, or rather shortcomings,
Uh-huh.
to survive in the society. So that's
Mm.
when we have to create that awareness among the society
Mm.
to make sure that we are inclusive of everybody. It
Mm.
doesn't matter what color you are, what challenges you have, what your capacity to work. We are all human beings, and God has blessed us with um, gifts that we cannot see with the normal eye,
Mm.
right? It's just we, with our human eye, when we look at it, we look at the outside part. Oh, this person cannot talk fluently, this person doesn't make eye contact, this person doesn't do this. We immediately make up our minds, oh, okay, he should have something wrong with him.
Mm.
But unfortunately, all that meets the eye is not what a person is about. A person has so much more to him.
Mm.
So to have that kind of we need to embrace everybody and bring awareness
Mm.
to including everybody. You never know what the person or who the person is just by looking at them. It is
Very true.
very important
Yeah.
to
Mm.
get to know the person. So give them all a chance. It's very hard, during school days to
Mm.
get a program for a child who has differences. And
Mm.
then it's even more difficult. Now, coming to my son's age, There's absolutely no programs there out there.
Wow.
There is nothing. In fact,
Mm.
I have son. He's at home, and I'm creating, own programs for him,
Mm.
so he can be occupied, or he can do something that he loves to do. There is nothing in the society that supports children. Okay, there are some programs here and there. Every company would say they are inclusive. Okay, we can have somebody over, but it's what I would say is there are so many different variations in the neuro disability, is that they're not every company recognizes. Sometimes when I say my son's disorder, nobody, even the doctors, don't realize what it is and what it holds, and what my challenges are. So every parent is going through a lot of
A lot.
difficulty and challenge, and mostly when it comes to special needs, it's the parents who are bearing up the brunt of it. The society has not yet stepped in. They don't understand. So it's very, very hard for many of the parents. That's why I try to, yes, we support children, but we also support the parents more. They
Yes.
need the support and the resources, and they have to be provided, and we share. Nobody is a big expert in this. Whatever I find out, I just share it with other parents, right? And whatever Lavanya finds out, we just share it with other parents. It's just a group of parents who are getting together, who are sharing whatever resources we have. Yes, all of us are busy, but I am calling for everybody to put aside some time out of your very busy schedule. If you can take that little time, even a 1 hour, 2 hours, to do something with a child who is not yours but somebody else's, that would make a big difference in the society. This society is all about right now, okay, where is my child going to go? Is it like, the biggest universities? And let's do everything that is possible to push. It's like that, and it's fine. I mean, you are your child's advocate, and you can do that. But there are people who are struggling to even handle the basics, and struggling with everything that they go through. The system is not yet completely set up for what every child's challenge is. And when you are diagnosed, even in school systems, and you put in a special ed, there is nothing much that happens there. As unfortunately, all depends on the teacher. If you get a good teacher and the teacher is passionate, it works. But if the teacher is not, then all you get is a babysitting service, and that goes on all through everybody's life. And I've stopped my son from going to any post-secondary programs because it just was a waste of time, waste of effort, and he just did not enjoy it. The quality of life was going down so much. So yeah, and hiring people for this kind of work, right? Tutors for special need kids is such a challenge. So we in Infuse try to provide whatever we can, and mostly it's a volunteer run organization. So if you have a skill, let us know, and we would be able to share it with somebody else. So we have dance classes going on. There is yoga classes. Madhu is doing yoga classes. We have our students volunteering doing dance classes. We have Meenakshi, who does bhajan and singing classes. So any talent you have, we have a workshop going on right now, STEAM Labs, which is about science and experiments and labs that are done by my students, high school students. So even if there is no age for you to wait, okay, my child is still in elementary, can he volunteer? Of course he can volunteer. He can definitely. The more we introduce it to children, they are the ones who are in the school with children with difficulties, right? So definitely that would help. So
And your organization's name is Infuse?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So unfortunately, to hear, but about what public school provides. They are strapped for money, and it is unfortunate. But like you're saying, parents like you are doing their bit, and you have an organization named Infuse, and you're urging people to help and come, provide whatever talent they have, which is such a good platform. That's why I see that positiveness in you every time, and that welcoming smile, which you know uh, is just heartwarming. And I wish you the very best, Selvi, for all you do. Not an easy road for you, but you're a trooper, and you're spreading so much love. So all I want to do is just wish you the best, and just keep doing what you're doing, and hope to see you soon. Take care, Selvi. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Namrata. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure. Bye. Namaste.
Shosha is a creative Indian restaurant located in the heart of Silicon Valley. Shosha is a woman-owned business that serves traditional Indian flavors assimilated with molecular gastronomy techniques. The best Indian bar with happy hours in the Bay Area serves handcrafted drinks inspired by flavors from India with modern craft cocktails that are presented in unique ways. Shosha is a modern take on traditional Indian cuisine. We specialize in corporate luncheon, anniversary celebrations, birthday parties, and catering. Do check us out for a memorable modern Indian dining experience. Shosha is located at 141 South Murphy Avenue in Sunnyvale, California.